By now, it is no secret that trading card games have always held a special place in my heart. In this series, Raikourider and myself will be opening 24 packs or one box of a core Yu-Gi-Oh set. We will continue to open a set in chronological order week after week. We will use these cards to construct a deck and then face off against each other in a best 2 out of 3 match. Each match will have 3 prizes up for grabs, with 2 prizes going to the winner and 1 going to the loser. These prizes can range from individual wildcards, to starter or structure decks, to sealed booster packs, or even event cards that were only handed out at select tournaments. However, we cannot rest on our laurels. Between the ever-evolving nature of the Forbidden and Limited list, the cards that we ourselves choose to remove from the game, and the way that the game itself changes throughout the years, all of our matches will increase in complexity and also remain fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Well, that may honestly have been a record for fastest duel in our series yet. Holy shit, that not work out. But that's fine, because our series is not completely lost still, and that deck still has potential. We will hold that deck in the back burner for now until we can find a way to improve it. But that's just last week. We're on to Storm of Ragnarok now, and I can safely say Storm of Ragnarok may very well be my favorite set of all time. And the reason for that is because this set introduces pretty much the evolution of my favorite archetype, and thus creates the ability to create my favorite pet deck, the legendary 6 Samurai. So, for those of you who remember from Gladiator's Assault, the 6 Samurai are a series of monsters that have effects that activate if you have other monsters with the 6 Samurai name on the field. The legendary 6 Samurai are an evolution of sorts to this archetype, in that they actually have one benefit to them that the other cards didn't, and that is self-sufficiency on summoning. And what I mean by that is, a number of these monsters now have abilities that allow them to special summon themselves to the field if there are other monsters, or special summon other monsters when they are summoned. And that's going to make this deck a lot stronger. And hopefully we can pull what we need here. The only thing is, and this is the part that I'm really nervous about, a lot of the 6 Sam cards that we need are high rarity. So we're going to go explain each card here and there, and hopefully we can hit what we need when it comes time to the pulls. So first we're going to start with the commons. So looking at these commons, there are actually a few other key things to pay attention to. This set also introduced the Nordic archetype, which are a series of monsters based on the Nordic mythology, and they have 3 boss monsters, which annoyingly each of them have their own subset within the Nordic theme. So it's going to actually make summoning any of them a lot harder. But we'll see what happens. But going through the main commons here, so looking down here, the second row actually has quite a few of the good ones. We have Legendary 6 Samurai Shinai and Legendary 6 Samurai Mizuho. These two actually have a combination where you can basically keep sacrificing one of them to bring him back, and then summon them again and just repeat the process. And with the Temple of the Six that we pulled a few episodes back, this can actually be a very helpful system for us. Also, we have Kagemusha the 6 Samurai. This is basically the in-house tuner monster, and it actually has a pretty decent effect. During either player's turn, when one face-up 6 Sam you control is targeted by a spell, trap, or card effect that would target this card, you can activate the effect and shift that target onto this monster. Now, that being said, chances are we are not ever going to activate this effect. This is just a nice little bonus. The goal here is going to be to summon him out and use him for a synchro summon. Unfortunately, the monster we want to synchro summon into is an ultra rare, but we'll get to that soon. Shan Squire is actually a nice little support card for the 6 Samurai archetype. if a 6 samurai you control battles, you could actually send this card from your hand to the graveyard, and that monster can't be destroyed in battle this turn, which is pretty nice. So we'll definitely have to keep in mind for that, and hopefully we could pick up a couple of them. Scrolling a little more down, we see a few more cards for the Watt era, we see a bit more scrap support, but realistically we're not going to be too interested in those. And honestly, the rest of the commons aren't all that important. So we're going to, in fact, fun note, this is actually where we first get Cyber Shield. The card for the Harpy Lady archetype that came out in the anime all the way back in 2000-ish. I want to say it was like 2002, if I remember correctly. But we finally get the equip card after all these years, after damn near a decade. It's just insane, honestly, when you think about that. Okay, now we're into the rares, and there are actually 4 very important ones we want to see. The first is our big friend here, the legendary 6 Samurai Kageki. Whenever he is normal summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower 6 Samurai from your hand. And while you control another face-up 6 Samurai monster with a different name, this card's attack increases by 1500 points. So, using his own effect, you could special summon a monster, and as long as you don't summon another Kageki, you basically end up getting him all the way up to 1700 just through his own effect, which is pretty good. We definitely want to see a couple of him at the very least. Next, we also have Shien's Smoke Signal. So, we have Reinforcement of the Army, which is a good card, and Shien's Smoke Signal is basically more Reinforcement of the Army. It lets you add a level 3 or lower 6 Samurai from your deck to your hand. We have quite a few of those, and if we could pull 3 of this, then we're really in good business. Asceticism of the 6 Samurai is another good card. Where'd it go? There we go. That was odd. Anyway, Asceticism of the 6 Samurai is another really good card. You get to target a 6 Samurai monster you control, special summon another 6 Samurai from your deck with the same attack, but a different name, and if you do, you destroy that monster during the end of this turn. Now, the goal of this card is going to change throughout the era. For our current time, the goal would be to summon something like... Basically, if you have a Kagemusha on the field, you can use this to summon an Elder of the 6 Samurai, which I need to actually look and find out if we have that available in this set, or if that's going to be available somewhere else. But Elder of the 6 Samurai is a 400 attack, level 3 monster that basically has the effect of Cyber Dragon. So, definitely a good combo there. Alternatively, if you have Kageki on the field with its attack boost active, you could summon up a 1700 attack monster, typically something like 6 Samurai Iru, which is also a very good card. So this card works really well in our era for synchro plays, and it works really well later on for Xyz plays. And then the other one we want to talk about is Musakani Magatama. This card is actually a little weak effectively, but it's not too bad. If your opponent activates a spell or trap or monster effect that destroys a card or cards while you control a 6 Sam, you get to negate the activation and destroy it. Now, it doesn't require you to target that 6 Samurai monster. It only requires you having the 6 Samurai active while your opponent plays a card that would destroy a card. So if Ripe drops a Dark Hole on us, or he activates a Mirror Force, for example, we could flip this card up, negate that effect, and destroy it, which is a pretty good kick-in. The only downside is, because it's a counter trap, it does make it a bit slower, but our format is still slow enough that it's not that big of a deal. Now we go into the pricey shit. So first up, we have the super rares, and we have quite a few of them that matter here. The first one, and this is actually a really important one, is Legendary 6 Samurai Kizan. This monster has the effect that if you have another 6 Samurai monster with a different name on the field, you can special summon this from your hand. And if you control 2 or more other 6 Samurai monsters, this card gains 300 attack and defense. So, again, this is a monster that works really well right now in general as a beat stick, but it's going to work really well later on in terms of Xyz plays, especially if we could get multiple keys on. The other good card out of this set for the 6 Samurai in the super rare slot is Temple of the Six. This one is actually not as important, but it actually works really well as a bank for Bushido counters. So every time a 6 Samurai monster is normal or special summoned, you place a Bushido counter on here, and your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack for every Bushido counter on this card. Now, the attack drop is kind of nice because it's non-targeting. However, the key part to this is having the Bushido counters active, so that way you could constantly remove them with Gateway of the 6 to get the main effects off. Especially because Gateway's effects are not once per turn at all. And then we have a couple other important general cards here. Vortex the Whirlwind's a really solid card for Black Wings, essentially, because it requires a non-tuner Winged Beast, and when it's destroyed in battle and sent to the grave, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Winged Beast monster from your deck. Not necessarily a super great effect, but it's pretty good as a basic card. And then the other big super rare here is Forbidden Lance. You get to target a monster on the field. That monster loses 800 attack and 800 attack points until the end of the turn, but it's also unaffected by other spell and trap cards. This is actually a pretty good little card to help protect a certain monster from basically certain destruction effects or whatnot. So it's not too bad. And now we go down into the ultra rares, and again, we have quite a few important ones. Six Samurai Inishi is actually a really good removal monster. During either player's turn, once per turn, you can banish 2 Six Sams from your graveyard to bounce a face-up monster on the field to the hand. It does require having another Six Samurai on the field to use that effect, but it's not that bad. And then, if you have 2 or more face-up Six Samurai monsters, except for this one, it gains 500 attack and defense. Which, again, this card works really well as a target for Asceticism. It works really well for Exceeds plays later on. But here, it's actually just useful as a general attacker, and it's actually pretty solid. And then we have the big boss of the series, which is the legendary Six Samurai Shi-En. Now, there is one thing I need to quickly address with this card that pisses me off. Because of the fact that it has Shi-En in two words, that means you actually cannot summon this card using the effect of Gateway of the Six. Konami knew exactly what they were doing, and honestly, they were smart for that, and I hate them for it. So this card requires 1 Warrior Tuner and 1 or more non-tuner Six Samurai monsters. Once per turn, if your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can negate that card and destroy it. And then if this card would be destroyed by a card effect or by battle, you can destroy another Six Samurai monster you control instead. Now, the reason I'm hoping we could pull these well is because we did end up missing out on a few tries to get legendary, the Great Shogun Shi-En. And admittedly, I definitely had options at the time to pick them up, but we'll see what happens. If I can find a way to get one of those later on, that'll be really nice, because with this card and that one in effect together, that means that not only are you able to choose what one card your opponent, not only are you able to force your opponent to only activate 1 spell or trap a turn, but because you could negate the first one if you want, that means you get to essentially decide what your opponent gets to activate, which is kind of neat. Unfortunately, the old belief of this card basically shutting out your opponent entirely of spell and traps with the combo doesn't exactly work, but hey, we can't have everything, right? And then we see the 3 Lord of the Aesir monsters, and like I said, they're going to be really tough to summon if we don't pull the specific stuff we need, so. But I've rambled on enough with this set. It's time for us to get into some packs and see what happens. Okay, so we have 24 packs of Storm of Ragnarok. I'm very excited to see what we hit here. So let's see, first pack. And right off the bat, we hit an ultra rare. Unfortunately, it's not one that I want to see necessarily, but interesting nonetheless. Atomic Scrap Dragon. Unfortunately, it requires a Scrap Tuner and 2 or more non-tuners. And that's going to be rough because I don't think we necessarily have Scrap Tuners available to us. Or if we do, not that I'm aware of. But it's decent. Once per turn, you can select a card you control and up to 3 cards to your opponent's graveyard. You destroy your selected card, and then you bounce the 3 cards to your opponent's graveyard back to the deck. And then when this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, you could summon a non-synchro scrap monster in your graveyard. I mean, it's okay, but the fact that it removes the cards back to the deck as opposed to, say, banishing them, does make it a bit worse. But that being said, it is a 3200 attack monster, so I mean, it's not the worst. That being said, we don't have a scrap tuner, and scraps don't really work outside of their own archetype anyway, so like here, scrap worm is a thing, so I guess we could summon it using that if we want to, but I don't see any interest in it personally. Okay, so we see a Kagemusha of the 6 Samurai, that's good to see. We see a 6 strike triple impact, I think this might be our second one. This is actually kind of interesting. So, if you control 3 or more face-up 6 Samurai monsters, you could either destroy all face-up spell and trap cards your opponent controls, destroy all set spell and trap cards your opponent controls, or destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. So essentially, without the cost of discarding a card, you either get the Lightning Vortex, you get a Storm, or you essentially get to pick which kind of back row to get rid of, or all of your opponent's monsters, which isn't too bad. Unfortunately, the Kagemusha and the 6 strike are like the only good things here. Okay, so we see a I'm probably going to butcher this. Svartalf, the Nordic Alfar. This is actually a Alfar tuner, and it lets you summon a Nordic monster, or it lets you add a Nordic monster in your graveyard to your hand when it's normal summon. God, that sucks. Like, it sucks just because of the fact that it's level 5, so you have to have a tribute, but then it doesn't even special summon the monster, so it makes it harder to even summon the monster for it. God. See, this is the thing about the Nordics that I hate. They look so cool, and they're such a cool concept, but they're just implemented in such a rough way. Rest of the pack, though, is kind of whatever. And just like that, we hit the Ghost Rare. Odin, Father of the Aesir. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to summon this thing, more than likely. It requires a Nordic Ascendant tuner, which we do not have access to yet. And it requires 2 or more non-tuners. Now, it does have a decent couple of effects. Once per turn, you can make this card unaffected by spell and trap effects until the end of the turn. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card is destroyed by your opponent's card and sent to your grave, you could banish a Nordic Ascendant tuner from your graveyard to special summon this way, and then draw a card, which is pretty good. It basically means that once you synchro summon it, you do get 1 free revival. That being said, the fact that it requires the Nordic Ascendant tuner and 2 non-tuners makes this tough. And like I said, we have not pulled a Nordic Ascendant tuner yet because, fun detail, all of the Nordic tuners are all super rare or higher. Yay. Well, let me rephrase. Gulfax is the one for Thor, and it's a rare. Yay. God, this is going to be a rough one. Oh, we hit a super rare Vortex the Whirlwind. That's actually kind of nice. Now, granted, we haven't been messing with with Blackwings too much, but this could actually be a pretty decent pickup for us. Rest of the pack doesn't look too promising though. I think we're already on our playset of Kagemusha. Oh shit! I completely forgot to talk about the secret rares. Wow, I completely fucking forgot about that. God damn, we hit max C. God damn, dude, I'm seriously annoyed that I forgot about the secret rares, because this is a big one. This is huge, and I can definitely see this card getting banned at some point later. So, okay, so for those who don't know what this card is, and that's probably a decent number of you because this card has been banned in the TCG for years, and it's probably never coming back. If it is, then this format is fucked. But during either player's turn, you could pitch this card from your hand to the graveyard, and every time your opponent would special summon monsters, you draw a card every time a special summon happens, immediately. Now, what that means is, if your opponent summons 2 at the same time, you only get 1 card. But, if your deck runs heavily on special summons, this card basically allows your opponent to go really high pluses. Like, just on its own, if you chain it to a special summon, you essentially go neutral already because you get a free card. And it makes your opponent either have to stop special summoning for their turn, which generally stops their combos, or it lets you keep drawing, so they basically have to kill you that turn in order for you to not see the actual benefit of it. But Damn. Damn, I did not think we were going to see that. Like, the rest of the pack is garbage, but that is alone a holy fuck moment right there. And, okay, we see another Svaltarf of the Nordic Alfar, so, I mean, it's another tuner. Unfortunately, it's not the tuner we need, but it's kind of neat. Honestly, since we pulled 2 of these, if we could pull the Loki Synchro Monster, that would actually be something we could consider. And the rest of the pack is kind of whatever. Okay, so, we have 3 packs left to go. Let's see what we can hit. We've hit some pretty crazy shit already. Unfortunately, not enough of the 6am stuff to matter. And as I say that, we miss another 6am ultra rare, but we hit a Burrito, which is actually really solid. It does require non-tuner machine types, but I mean, it's not the worst. If you're running Karakuri, this is actually a really solid card, because it has the effect of letting you special summon a Karakuri monster from your deck when it's summoned. And then, once per turn, if a battle position of a Karakuri monster you control changes and remains face up, you get to draw a card, which is a really strong effect. So we have this, and we have a Beret. We really might have to look into Karakuri as an option, because that's actually really solid. Okay, so, rest of the pack is kind of whatever, but that's really good to see. Alright, second to last pack. There's the Valkyrie of the Nordic Ascendant. God damn it. So, okay. This is the tuner monster that we need for Odin. When it's normal summoned, if your opponent controls a monster and you control no other cards, you could banish 2 Nordic monsters from your hand to special summon 2 Einherjar tokens? I probably butchered the shit out of that. Basically, the effect of this is that if you control no other cards when it's summoned and your opponent has at least 1 monster, you essentially could banish 2 Nordics in your hand and go straight into Thor, which isn't that bad, but the fact that you have to banish 2 Nordics from your hand specifically really hurts. But, I mean, at least it's something. Also, we see a Gulfax. I think that might be our first of that one, which is kind of funny. Alright, last pack. Let's see what we can hit. Are you shitting me? We hit an ultimate rare Thor, Lord of the Aesir. So we hit 2 of the Aesir Synchro monsters. That's actually hilarious. And unfortunately, for the 2 that we did hit, I think we only have 1 tuner of each like 1 tuner each for them, which kind of bites. So Thor has the effects that you can negate all face-up monster effects your opponent controls for the turn. And then, if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to your graveyard, you can banish a Nordic Beast from your tuner from your graveyard, special summon this, and then inflict 800 damage to the opponent. Not the greatest of effects, but it's something. I guess we can consider that, really, but I don't know. And, honestly, I can't really complain, though. I mean, we hit a couple of good cards for the 6 Samurai, which is nice. We hit 2 of the Aesir Synchros, which maybe I'll find a way to look into them. If not necessarily for the sake of, like, as their own deck, maybe they could get splashed into something. We'll have to look and see. But then, also, where's our friend? There's our little friend. We hit Max C. That is freaking huge. So, yeah, we're going to have to go in and see what we can come up with here, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is the deck we're bringing to tonight's duel, and there's a couple things we need to discuss. First and foremost, yes, I am finally playing the Blackwings. I'm not necessarily a fan of playing the Blackwings right now, specifically because I played this a lot in the offline series, but I need a strong deck to work with, so here we are. Second, you may notice there is an absent fusion monster in my extra deck. That is because it turns out that, despite what I thought, I actually did not hit the ultimate Axon Kicker like I had originally believed. Turns out that was just me believing it, thinking it because of how much I talked about it in the deck profile before, in the set profile. So, it turns out Rai also had a recent issue where he actually had 2 copies of Allure of Darkness in his deck for the last episode, which both of these fall under the same category of we made a mistake, but thankfully neither of them actually made an impact on the game, and as a result, we're basically going to call it a wash. And any other instance like this where we have a card, an issue like this where it doesn't actually impact the game, we're instead going to just basically remove the card from the deck and call it a day. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and run through the card by card here. We have 1 copy of Armageddon Knight. This is here mostly to help get our Plague Spreader zombie in the graveyard or anything else we need. We have 3 copies of Blizzard the Far North, 3 copies of Bora, 1 copy of Elfin the Raven. Surprisingly, this is actually kind of useful for us, and that's kind of nice, not gonna lie. 1 copy of Gale, 3 copies of Kalut. With how often he's managed to get us with Kalut, if we can get him back with this, that'll be nice. 2 copies of Copycat to help clear out any big threat. 1 copy of Dark Armed Dragon. Unfortunately, Rai also has a copy of this, so we have to be very mindful, but this can help clear out his board. 1 copy of Plague Spreader Zombie, 1 Sangin, 1 Spell Striker, 1 Thunder King Ryo, and 1 Witch of the Black Forest. For our speed spells, we have 2 copies of Angel Baton, 1 Foolish Burial, 3 MST, and 3 Silver Contrails. We're going to be kind of light on spells, but that's okay for us because we have a decent number of traps to work with here. For our traps, we have 1 Call of the Haunted, 1 Full Throttle, 3 Icarus Attack. This is basically going to be our main form of removal. 2 copies of Magic Cylinder, 1 Ring of Destruction, 1 Scrap Iron Scarecrow, and 2 Vanity's Emptiness. I really don't know how this card's going to work for us overall, but we'll see how it fares. If nothing else, this is probably going to get banned soon anyway. For our side deck, we have 2 copies of Consecrated Light, specifically in case he's running the same thing, which, if that's the case, we do have a couple extra light monsters and non-darks specifically, so we can actually work well with that. 2 copies of Cyber Dragon, 1 Glow Up Bulb. The other 2 are going to rest in the trunk for now. And then we have 2 copies of Speed Spell Book of Moon, 1 Monster Reborn, 3 Blackhorn of Heaven, 1 Royal Oppression, 2 copies of Sakuretsu Armor, and 1 Starlight Road. For our extra deck, we have ourselves our Ancient Fairy Dragon, an Armory Arm, Black Rose, Blackwing, Silverwind the Ascendant, and Blackwing Armor Master. These 2 are actually kind of useful, and we'll see how they fare with this, but if nothing else, it's another 8 and a 7 to work with, and with some decent power. 1 Colossal Fighter, 1 Formula Synchron. Fun fact, this card can actually miss timing when it's Synchro Summoned. Go figure. 1 Goyo Guardian, 1 Iron Chain Dragon, 1 Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 newly acquired Scrap Dragon, 2 copies of Stardust Dragon, 1 copy of Thought Ruler Archfiend, and 1 Vortex the Whirlwind. So, guys, we're going to try to get back into the winner circle here. We're going to see what we can do. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the final time, potentially. It is time to rev it up. It's bittersweet, isn't it? Our last Turbo Duel.
Can you believe it? Where's 5D's gone? This is the last Turbo Duel.
I guess this fits the 5D's mark perfectly, though, because this basically just sped by.
It did, and with both of the Earthbound Immortals that we've seen in Turbo Duels now on the banned list, we should have a nice clean race. What do you think?
I think so. So, all right, let's see how it works.
All right, we shall see you on the other side of the Fortune Cup.
Oh.
Ah!
There we go.
That was a good war, though.
Oh yeah, that was a really good one. Alright, I'll be on the play as soon as Dueling Book allows it. There we go.
Perfect. Good luck, Duelist.
Good luck. Let's see.
Oh, it was on top.
There we go. Alright, so draw. Standby. Main. This is a tough one, actually. Do I want to go for pressure, or do I want to just go for safety? I think I'm going to go for pressure. I'm going to run out my Armageddon Knight.
That's an Armanite, you got it.
We will send to our graveyard the Plague Spreader Zombie.
Yup.
I will put this on top of my deck to special summon the zombie.
Goyo already?
And then, so this gets banished. This goes. And yeah, we might as well go for Goyo right now. Go for broke.
Committing to Goyo on turn 1. Interesting.
Then I will set 2 cards and pass the turn.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase, and wowie. That's a Goyo Guardian. That's ugly. I'm just going to set a pair.
Alright. I was going to say, if that turns out to be a big mistake on my part, then so be
Go
it,
ahead.
but... Alright. Draw, standby. Main. I'm going to set a monster, and then I will set a card and pass the turn.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. And this is why this was a big mistake. I am going to activate Speed Spell Instant Fusion.
Oh, interesting. And let me guess, you're going straight into Thousand Eyes, aren't you?
Does this resolve?
Yeah, this resolves.
You are correct, and with priority, I am gonna suck up the Goyo.
All right.
Proceed to battle phase.
Okay.
28.
You got my Sangan.
Sure, you can get your search off Sangan.
Let's see, what do I want to pick up is the question.
I hear Instant Fusion is a pretty good monster removal spell.
It is. Boy, this is actually a really tough one. So it has to be 1500 or less attack. Okay. I think I will add my Witch of the Black Forest to hand.
Floater's gonna float. After combat, I think I'm just gonna pass the turn and let Thousand Eyes get destroyed.
Okay. Draw. Standby. Ooh, that's a good one. Main. Let's hit MST. And
That's pretty
hit the back
good.
row.
That is pretty good. That's a torrential.
Ooh, okay, that's a good sight.
Sure, you didn't want to deal with that.
Alright, I'm gonna run out my Witch of the Black Forest.
You got it.
Battle. Let's hit into your defense.
Not going anywhere.
Okay. Thinking real quick. Ooh, that's actually not a bad idea. I'm gonna remove 1 speed counter.
Oh, you have contrails?
Contrails onto the Spirit Reaper.
Sure. Spirit Reaper dies.
So, that's a replay, right?
It is not because that happened during damage step.
Ah, I gotcha.
Replays can only occur during the battle step.
Gotcha. Still a good way to get around it, though.
It does.
And I'll pass the turn.
Draw for turn. Proceed to the standby phase. Proceed to the main phase. I am going to just set a pair.
Okay. Draw. Standby. Main. This is a toughie. Do I want to spend them? I think it's worth it. I'm going to spend 4 speed counters and activate Speed Spell Angel Baton.
You got it.
Ugh, that's not quite what I wanted to see. But I guess I will send my Silver Contrails to the graveyard.
I hope those cards were worth it back there.
Okay. Battle phase. Hidden?
I'm going to activate Speed Booster and use the effect immediately.
Negate the effect.
It negates an attack once per turn.
See, those are your... Okay. Main phase 2. I'm going to... I'm going to set a card, and then I will end my turn.
Card for turn. Standby phase. Main phase. I'm going to activate Speed Booster to deal you 700 points damage.
Okay. The fact that it took us this long to get any kind of actual damage off is kind of funny.
Then I have a couple of diverging lines here.
Alright.
You're not going to like this too much. This has been a jar.
Ooh, Cyber Jar.
Yep. So I'm gonna just go ahead and flip Cyber Jar now.
Okay.
So I go first. Those are pretty damn good cards.
Okay, hold on. Speed Booster.
It's Mirror Force double Speed Booster Spy Guard.
Okay, and then...
So then you banish yours, then I decide what I'm doing with my monsters, and then you decide... Oh, there's the boy, yup.
If you want to write them down, you can.
Oh my god, he has 3 darks, too. That's awful. So you have Rod, Scrap. You have Rod, Scrap, Icarus, Dad, and PSC.
Oh, no, not PSC. It's, the other one was Gale.
Oh, Gale, right. And the Gale is on the board. Yeah, because PSC was banished for that. But yeah, Dad is scary because I do see that you have 3 darks. Hang on. That was a misclick. Anyway, you
Okay,
also have
that's actually weird that it kept the counters on there.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just I need to keep you off Dark Arm Dragon is the problem. So I'm going to set the Spy and summon the guard.
Okay.
And then these will go to my hand.
And then my witch resolves.
Yeah, you can witch.
I will add a copy of Blackwing Blizzard the Far North to my hand.
Little Blackwing package, I see. Alright. Well, you having Dad changes things quite a bit. What is the out to Dad? I know what I have to do. I don't like it, but I think I have to try to remove this Gale. I'm going to Normal PSC.
Okay.
This good.
Summon's good.
Synchro.
Alright.
For Iron Chain.
Alright.
Effect of PSC, put this card on top of my deck.
In response, I'm going to emptiness this.
Copying me, I see. Got it. That's fine.
Hey, what's the phrase? Imitation is the best form of flattery, and it worked for you, so.
I guess it did. All right, I'm pretty sure this is gonna get sacked, but I have to try. Battle phase.
All right.
Hit. I'm sure there's a sack there. I mean, that'll pop the emptiness if you do.
I don't have a sack. Damage step.
Oh, you have a Kalute?
I've got the Kalute.
That's fine. I'll take 2.
Unfortunately, emptiness does go bye-bye now, but...
And that also keeps you off of Dad, which was the goal.
True.
So, main phase 2, I'm going to set 4 back row.
Interesting. So that's... Okay, so 2 of them are Speed Booster. One is Mirror Force. The question is, what the hell's the other one?
I'm going to pass my turn.
Alright, draw.
And then during draw phase, I am going to activate... I am going to just go ahead and activate them both now.
Okay.
Good luck attacking me now!
Yeah, true. Alright, and then main phase 1... Well, if you have emptiness, then there's nothing I can do, but I can run out Blizzard the Far North.
Oh, that's gross.
Target my Kalute.
Yep, and now you have 3 darks for Dad.
Yes, I do. Any response to this?
Unfortunately... You already went through your Goyo. So...
Okay.
I am not dead yet, surprisingly. I am not dead yet.
Not yet, but let's see what we can do about that. So, first things first. Let's banish. Hit this one.
You got the Mirror Force.
Okay. Banish Sandkin. Let's hit the other one.
That was Speed Spell Shift Down. It was just a bluff card.
Okay. I will banish to hit your monster.
Sure.
Alright. Now, I'm going to... See, this is the nice part about this. I'm going to... I haven't normal summoned yet. Oh, wait, yes I did. Yes I did.
Yeah, you normal summoned Blizzard.
Okay. So... How much do I want to take this is the question. I can do that. And that puts me in a... That still puts me in a fairly decent spot. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, so first, I'm going to sink Blizzard and Kalute into a new friend, Vortex the Whirlwind.
I was wondering if the reason why you played Blackwing was because of Vortex the Whirlwind, because this card is actually sick.
It is. The only thing that sucks, though, is that it can miss timing, and it has to be battle, which really sucks.
Yep.
But we're going to go ahead. Let's clear out 2 of the speed boosters.
Sure.
And then you're going to see another card of mine. I'm going to sync together.
Oh, don't tell me you have Scrap Dragon.
Yeah, I ended up getting a wild card for it.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, It was like 2. There was like 2 choices I had, because the rest of the options at the time really weren't that great. Then I'm going to Okay, so I'm going to declare scrap, target your speed booster, and my face down card.
Sure. That's fine.
Battle phase.
I'll just take it all.
Alright. Main phase 2. I will set a card. I will pass. And boom.
Yep. That'll do.
Woo! Game 1, finally. Alright.
So after that game, have you changed your mind about banning Bora yet?
I don't know. He's still a concern, but
So I'm gonna say, after that beating, I mean, it's Blackwing, and
Yeah.
I knew you had a core, so it was just a matter of time.
right.
And it's not a bad deck in Turbo now with Black Whirlwind at 1.
Yeah. Well, that's just it too. It's the fact that like Blackwing is one of the few like cores I really have that actually work exceptionally well under the speed duel rules.
Yeah, because the only thing you really lose is Whirlwind. I'm just going to set a pair and pass the turn.
All right. Draw. Standby. Main. Okay. Question is, what do you have face down? I think, well, first I think I need to run out this.
Sure.
Then I'm going to... Let's see. For a little bit of insurance, I'm going to run out Witch of the Black Forest.
Sure.
Battle phase. Sidra in.
It's a tomato.
Okay.
Tomato's going to get me... What do I want is the question. I really don't like this, but I'm actually going to get Spirit Reaper.
Ooh, interesting.
I'll take 800 from your attack.
Actually, you will not. I am going to pay 1 speed counter and activate Silver Contrails targeting Reaper.
Oh, that'll do.
And then I will hit you for 11.
That's fine.
Main phase 2, I will set 1 card and throw it to you.
Had to try. Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase.
I will say, Spirit Reaper is definitely a really good card, and I'm glad that they did balance it with the whole self-destruct part, because otherwise it'd be way too hard to correctly out.
I mean, we have Marshmallow, we just don't have easy access to it.
Right.
I mean, obviously Spirit Reaper is a menace in GOAT format. I think it's a little dated, but it's still very playable.
Oh, yeah. Alright. I think... Question is, what do I want to play out? Alright. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and attack with Cyber Dragon.
It's Spy.
Okay. Well, you get another Spy. And unfortunately, I'm out of shenanigans to help with my witch, so... Main phase 2, I will set a monster and pass the turn.
Draw for turn, standby phase, main phase. I'm just gonna pass.
Okay. Draw. Standby. Main. This is a tough one. Okay. I'm going to remove 2 speed counters, and let's go fishing. I'm gonna hit this one.
Don't like this. But
Ooh,
I need to protect it.
interesting. Okay. So what the hell do you have face down that you care that much about?
I was really trying to save that for a synchro summon, but I can't let you do that.
Fair enough. Alright. Well, let's get greedy. Cyber Dragon in.
That answer your question?
I had a feeling, and you know what? That makes me glad that I had those on the field still.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I still think that I had the chance to Mirror Force the Cyber Dragon earlier, but I really wanted to try to catch another monster with it. And you're going to get cards off of the Sandkin and the Witch anyway, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I may as well try to get maximum value.
Right. Okay, so off the Sandkin, I'm going to add Armageddon Knight.
Sure.
And off the Witch, I will add my Dark Arm Dragon.
Yup. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why that card is so disgusting, is because you can search Dad off of it.
And seeing as how I haven't normal summoned for the turn.
Yup.
So we will dump Plague Spreader.
Yep. There's your third Dark.
Drop them off. We'll go ahead and banish the Witch to pop the Spy.
Yep.
And then... let's see. Question is do I really want to go into Goyo at this point, because it's not really worth, like, is it really worth it at this moment? Nah, I think I'm good. I think I'll pass the turn.
Alright. I have quite a few outs. I just need to find one of them. Who? Are you for real? You've got to be joking. You have got to be joking.
Let me guess, drew it one turn too late?
No. Here's what happened. Okay. This gets me nothing. Yep. Okay. So here's what happened.
Okay. Didn't
Yeah,
expect that. I did not expect that.
Nothing I can do about that. So what happened is this was in my hand.
Ooh, E-Telly.
So I was looking for any 4 off the top to be able to make Black Rose with, and this was what I drew for my turn. And I have no more targets for Emergency Teleport left in my deck, and I had an answer to your board. I just needed one more speed counter.
That hurts. That actually really hurts.
I mean, to be fair, I dunked on you with Blackwing super fast last episode, so
true.
It's only fair. And for extreme victory, unless something really crazy happens, I can't think of a better way to end off the 5D series than playing Blackwings.
For me, it'll definitely depend on what I end up pulling, but honestly, Blackwings definitely does seem like a solid enough deck to work with. The only question is, how much are we going to counterplay?
So I don't know if you saw what I was up to mostly. Yeah, I figured there was something back there, which is why I was trying to make Black Rose specifically.
Right.
So I don't know if you saw necessarily what I was up to, but I was actually trying to play a control deck that used Speed Booster as its win condition.
Honestly, that's not a bad idea, especially because I am a bit more reckless in terms of speed counters anyway. So this is actually not a bad idea at all.
Oh no, I went all in on this.
Oh, wait, Speed Jammer. Oh,
I was playing triple speed spell Speed Jammer. The problem with this card is your opponent has to have at least 6 speed counters for you to use it.
Right.
But this can lead to some real blowouts if they're trying to save up for something big.
True.
And it's like Speed Spell Shift Down is very much in our meta.
Oh yeah.
And you want to keep and instinctively you want to keep a certain number of speed counters to be able to play your speed spells. But the issue with this, and that's what I was trying to trap you into with the speed boosters, is trying to save up for because I know you play a couple of big spells. So I wanted to try to catch you where if you saw the speed boosters, you would be hesitant to spend your counters, and then I could stop this and start using speed booster as a win condition because those negate attacks as well. And I had other ways to stop attacks. I just never saw in game 2 anything that made my deck go.
Right.
And you basically drew 2 perfect hands in a row. But like I said, I did that to you with Black Wings last time.
Yeah, so that's kind of how that works.
I am perfectly okay with this loss, and that actually means that our catch-up mechanics are doing their job.
Yep. Because, I mean, now granted, so there is actually one thing, before we go on, there is actually something I want to discuss about my pulls. Let me just say, you are so lucky that the Nordics are such a crappy archetype to work with. I hit 2 of the tuners for Loki, but I didn't pull Loki. I hit Thor, but I only have 1 of the tuner for Thor. I hit Odin, and I hit 1 of the tuner for Odin. But they're all so excessively costly that I can't build around them.
Not just that, but I talked about this earlier, that Nordic is such high rarity that there's no way you can make it.
Oh, yeah.
Just everything, like half of the ultras in the set are Nordic cards that you have to play the deck.
See, and honestly, that's the part that makes it suck so bad. Like, the Nordics are such an awesome concept, but they're just so, they're so almost like xenophobic in a sense of types, because you can't really run anything else to support them because you have to have all Nordic stuff to work with, which is kind of annoying. And then, like you said, it's all high rarity too, which makes it even tougher.
That is not going to be the case with the next big archetype that's coming out in Extreme Victory.
Oh yeah, Tech Genus. That's going to be interesting.
Tech Genus, I think, is a very real deck for us.
Oh, absolutely.
And whether we play Black Wings or Tech Genus or something else in Extreme Victory, that's going to be a hell of a way to close out an arc.
Oh yeah. All right.
And recording has stopped.
Okay, so we've hit our wild cards. We finally got another win, and we get to see the winner's wheel for once. And we have 2 spins of it. I'm honestly tempted to take a spin on the sealed product wheel, and I might consider that after this first spin, but let's see what we can hit. However, there is one other thing I want to at least do, just for the hell of it. Just because of the fact that this is our last chance to show it off, we're going to show one more time. Say it with me, everyone. Card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles?
Card games on motorcycles.
Card game on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles.
Card games on motorcycles!
I'm sorry, I had to. I put way too much effort into finding that video and getting it clipped for this. I am going to use it at least I'm going to use it at least twice in this series, god damn it. Alright, so let's spin the first wheel and see what we can hit. Given the fact that we want to see a lot of wildcards from Storm of Ragnarok at the moment, almost anything we hit here will be kind of useful to us. And there's our first big one, a super rare. So we're going to take a quick look and figure out what we're getting. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely going to pick up a copy of Legendary Six Samurai Kizan, simply because we only have access to wildcard opportunities for this set for 8 sets anyway, and we have quite a lot that we're missing here for this set. Like, we need 2 to 3 Kizan, we need 3 copies of Smoke Signal, which we only have 1 of, we need 3 copies of Kageki, we only have 1 of that, we need the Legendary Six Samurai Shien, and an Anishi, both of which are ultra rares. So, I mean, we definitely need a lot out of this set. So, we're going to lock in 1 copy of Kizan for our super rare. And honestly, as much as I would like to spin for the Turbo Pack 4 and take a chance to get more Dark Hole, which conveniently is in common, I feel like I need to spin this and see what we can hit. So we're going to see what we can pick up here. Oh, another super rare. You know what? We're going to go ahead and just pick up a second copy of Keyzon then. We're going to knock that out quickly. And if we could, because 2 Keyzon we can work with. 3 Keyzon would be preferable, but 2 is definitely viable. And before we head off, there is one more thing that we need to discuss, and that is the Shonen Jump promo that we received that isn't regarding the tournament. It was actually just a subscription card. We got another copy of the Winged Dragon of Ra, which we are never going to use. In fact, I'm trying to remember, do we have another copy of this? Yes, we do. We have a copy already. So this is our second copy of this card, and we are never going to touch this thing. So, but we get to have our Inter-American effect, so we have it. So next episode is going to be Extreme Victory. That is the final set of the 5Ds era. Boy, oh boy. It is very bittersweet here, but we're going to hit it, so we're going to see what we can come up with. So, we'll catch you guys next time. Have a great night.